welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm featuring the Kia Soul. Featured in another video a bit ago where I did an oil change on it quite excitingly, but today's video is about issues with starting tins. Now I'm going to try and demonstrate this, but I don't think it's going to do it because it has been run this morning. So what we're doing is I might actually have just before, shut up a minute, right, I might actually have a video of what it's doing somewhere, which I took ages ago when I was going to do this job and then didn't do it because I couldn't be bothered. But basically just cranks and cranks and cranks for a long time and then fires up. I'll show it, see if it'll do it. No, it didn't. It started perfectly, as you would expect. So yeah, what it does is, if I can't find a video, just in case, if I can I'll put it in, but if I can't I'll still say all this and then put the video in after it. But it cranks. You need to do it a few attempts until eventually it will just fire. Now, heater plugs is what I suspect. Normally, with the symptoms, I wouldn't suspect heater plugs, because usually heater plugs, they sort of cough and burp and fuck about and smoke a bit and then fire. But this, it doesn't. It just turns over and turns over and turns over and then fires all of a sudden. And the reason for that, I think, might be wrong, I think it's to do with the DPF, and I think it's got an EGT sensor on it, and I think it doesn't inject fuel until it senses a certain heat at the EGT sensor. So as soon as it injects, it's direct injection, so you don't actually need the heater plugs to start the car, but you need them to start efficiency. So anyway, like I say, heater plugs. That is what I'm going to change, or I'm going to try and change without snapping. So let's go and see where they are. They're going to be down near the front of the car. That quality Korean design, it doesn't even have a strut to lift the bonnet up. Saying that, actually, they're pretty good cars, these. So we've got a nice engine casing cover, vanity cover that is in the way, and the heater plugs are quite horrendously underneath this heat shield. So let's see if I can get that off. Right, we have got a bit of shit in the way here, which I don't want to take off yet, because once I've taken this heat shield off, I do plan on taking the car for a bit of a drive to get everything up to temperature. But looking at these bolts, I might have to do that before I take it for a drive. Let's try a different technique. So as anticipated, that one, and that one, I see solid. So I'm gonna have to get it warm before attempting to remove them. So I've had it running to get a bit of heat into it, but I don't know why I'm fucking about actually, because I've got one of these, which is an induction heater, which usually works quite well. So let's try, and I've actually got it plugged into an extension lead, which is pretty sick as well. But I have unravelled it all, so I'm not just going up with a fucking puddle of melted plastic with copper in the middle of it. So let's see if it actually works. Now I know it actually works, but let's see if it works on this occasion. Yes. Yes. We've got smoke. Something's going on fire. And now I've lost the ratchet. Try ultra tighten it first. That is still pretty fucking tight actually. Well, that's pretty fucking tight. I think I have to get these off camera really, aren't I? Try again. Yes! Another two to go. Right, so that one is lovely and loose now, which I can actually remove it with my fingers. But I've got these two to get to. And I can probably get to them, but it will be easier to take all this off, which as you can tell I've already unplugged that one, which is to the egg sensor. We've got this, some sort of silly loom here. We've got a breather pipe there, which is in the way. So I'm going to take some shit off to get some better access. Ow, fuck's sake. To get some better access. So yeah, this I'm going to take off. I'm just going to pull some stuff off. It's sort of self-explanatory, that really, isn't it? Like so. And now we have a clue as to where our heater plugs actually are. You can see one of them. And this is the plug it actually says. Glow plug to it. So I don't need to unplug that yet as such. But I need to take these off, which means using the heater again. And 3. That cool down a bit before I take it out all the way though. Now we've overcome the obstacle of them seized up bolts, we should be able to remove the seat shield. And just, like I said, that's unplugged, so you can just pull that over there. And then, there is our heater plugs. And they are the old-fashioned type, so they don't have plugs on them. They have, yes, a little nut holding like a common wire to each one, like something from the 1970s. But let's get it off. And there is a 10mm nut. I think it's a 10. Yeah, 10mm nut on each one. And they're not very tight actually. Probably do that with the socket driver. Yet. So they're all now off. And this should also come off. So now, we sort of can test these heater plugs. You know what, I wasn't going to bother because I've got new ones, I'm just going to put new ones in, but I will try testing them with a meter. Right, so this is a basic way of testing heater plugs. We've got a meter, and it's only testing for continuity. It's not really testing to see how hot they're getting or anything like that, but it's testing to see if they're not open circuit, because when they fail, they're usually open circuit. So, we put our positive to a battery positive, and then we probe each, what will be the positive terminal on the heater plug, and then we should get 12 volt, which if we don't, it's fucked. So that one's fucked. Go on to that one. That one's actually alright. Number 3. Fucked. And number 4. Fucked as well. I'm not falling off it, but it's fucked. So, now, we can confidently say that 3 of these heater plugs are fucked, and the one that is saying that it's not fucked could still be fucked, but it's probably alright actually. But we're going to change it anyway because I've got 4. So these are our shiny new heater plugs. Now I'll pull one out of the packet just to demonstrate how good they are. And what we need is, hold on. We need a 12mm deep throw socket to get them out. So now I've got to try and get them out. And heater plugs are sort of notorious for snapping actually, but I don't want to jinx myself by saying that these look quite meaty and quite big, because that will jinx myself and they will snap. So I'm not going to say that, but I'm hopeful that they will come out. Right, so we're now going to attempt to remove the first glow plug. And like I said, these got an habit of snapping, and sometimes actually, it's, if you can get to it, sometimes, I know that I'm not saying to do this, but with bolts that are going to snap, sometimes one of these actually does a better job of getting them out. A little impact gun, because of the force that it puts on it instead of twisting it, sort of hammers it out, and you can do it better, but it depends if you've got the balls to do that. First, I'm going to try it with this anyway. So this is going to be either a moment of euphoria or despair. It's pretty tight. Right, it's moved a bit, so once it started moving, I'll go backwards and forwards a little bit. And I'm just going to keep working it out until it comes out. Yes! So another 3 of the shitters to go. Well, what I didn't show is once it started moving, I did spray it with a bit of a pocket rocket. You see, that's why it come out. So that is 1 heater plug, 1 knackered heater plug, successfully removed. And even though the new heater plugs look the same and they're for the same car, you know, like listing from the motor factors or wherever I got them from, it is always good to put them next to each other to make sure they're the same length, because the last thing you want is the piston twatting into that. Threads don't go up as far, but it don't screw in all the way, I'm assuming. So that should be okay to put in. Right, so there's our new glow plug, or heater plug. That needs to go into where the old one came out of, surprisingly enough. So just find the hole. And as ever, there will be a torque setting for this, but I don't have it. So I'm just going to do it till it feels like it's the right torque. Just for a change and all that. Yes. It's a bit like a spark plug, apart from it's not a spark plug, but when you tighten a spark plug up, you can feel, well, when you tighten anything up, you can feel if it's about the right tightness. Because when it starts to go over tightness, it starts to flex, and you get a feel for it. But if you don't, there will be a torque setting, which you can probably find off the internet. You know how long is this thread? There we go. The torque setting's about that much. So that is one in its home. So I'm going to take the rest of these out now, which are the same, exactly the same. So I'm not going to film any of that. Unfortunately, they did all come out without snapping. So they're the old ones. The new ones are now installed, well, part installed. So now we can start building it back up. First things first, rather than first things second. First things last. Let's put this back on. So this is our common fees, as I said before, which goes onto there, and then we have our 10mm nuts. So go on to each heater plug. You know what, actually, you don't even need to take them all the way off. That's pretty good, isn't it? You don't even need to take them all the way off. You can just undo them and then the feed will come off to the side anyway. So I could have put the nuts on first rather than dropping them, but a bit late for that now. An intelligent person would have done that, which rules me out. You know what, you don't need to see this neither, do you? So there is our feed connected, and it just needs nipping up on each one. Now this doesn't go very tight at all, to be honest with you. Now, I'm using a ratchet because it's what I can get in, but you don't really need to use a ratchet. You could use a socket driver if you could get one in, but just nipped, just a little bit more than finger tight, because they are only a tiny thread. That'll do. So now let's put it all back together. Starting with this, so start by feeding that through the hole, and then struggling to get it back into its area of living quarters. But it wasn't hard to come out, so why is it hard to put in? There we go. Better. And then we put our bolts back in, and this time we don't need to heat them up to reinsert them. Could put some copper strip on them, but I don't intend on doing this again, so I'm not bothering. It's on an exhaust manifold. Copper strip even burns off. And another one. Yeah. Yes. And tighten them up. And when you've had stuff like this off, if you're a weirdo like me, then you'll find it very important to line up to the markings of where you took it off from. Not that it really matters, but just something that I've always done. And then if you put it in the same place, and it's not like to catch anything, is it? That's the logic behind it. The illogic behind it is that I'm just a bit of an idiot, which is probably well known by now. Last one. Yeah. I should have really took the extension off the ratchet. And these don't need to be anywhere near as tight as what they was when they come out neither. About there. So there is our shield back on, and now we just plug everything back in, build everything back up. Oh no, actually, saying that, that's a lie. We've got to put them back on first. And that one. And this one. Which one's going here? And we need to tighten them up in the correct orientation. Like so. And this is where we just need to remember to plug everything back in. So this loom for the injectors and what have you, that goes to the EGR valve, which is under there. Hold on, that breather, that goes to there in a minute, but this needs pushing back onto there. EGT sensor, that's plugging back in to there. This, I'm not sure what that is, it's something to do with something. That goes into there anyway. This one looks like it goes down to another EGT sensor. Anyway, everything plugs in one way. That goes onto there, which is our breather. And where's my pliers gone? Put that on. And that's nearly everything apart from, I think this is the last thing. Have I missed anything else? This is for the turbo actuator. So without that, that is the most important thing, because without that you'll have no turbo. And there's nothing worse than driving a turbocharged car with no turbo. So everything should be plugged back in. Just have a quick scan over it, make sure I've not missed it before I turn it on. Otherwise I'll get fault codes and shit. And then we'll put that back on. So it does appear that everything is in fact connected. So we'll put this back on. So it's just pushes onto here. Yes. And now it's not really the moment of truth, but let's just see if it works. Yes. Power. Right, so that is job done, and that is pretty much it. Before I go, I'm just going to show that you can measure the resistance of these plugs as well, which what I did in the car with a meter was just look for them being open circuit. But you could do it by measuring between the block or the cylinder head and the positive and do it this way and then look for a resistance. The only thing is I don't know what the resistance should actually be. I have no information on that. But as you can see, that one has got some resistance. These ones, these are all open circuit. They're all open line, look. Shitter. So they're all shagged. That one, if I put a battery to it, it might work. Might not, don't know. But it's got new ones in now. So that is pretty much it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. All the usual carry on. And I'm going to put a clip on the end if I get one of it doing a cold start to see if it has fixed it. And I'll see you next time. Well, I can't find that video of it struggling to start to add into the videos, but you'll have to take my word for it. But let's see if it still struggles. Moment of truth factor to see if it's actually worked. Yes! That's it, see you next time.